Being sick on a cruise is the absolute worst. And I don't know about you, but vomiting makes me feel like death. Like I just want to roll up in a ball and pass out. So I take a lot of precaution to make sure that I do not have seasickness when I'm cruising. Because the thing about being seasick is you could be fine for like the first 5 or 6 cruises you take, and all it takes is that one really rough sea cruise, and then there's no turning back. So in this video, I'm going to share some tips that I use to prevent feeling seasick and some cures if you ever have motion sickness while on a cruise. The first one is to book a cruise cabin. When you're booking your cabin, choose one that's in the middle of the ship. Midship is going to be your best bet for feeling less motion. The forward of the ship tends to get the most like swaying, I would say, like you feel the rolling of the ship. And then the aft can have some motion as well, but they have the views of the wake, views for days. Now, I find that choosing a deck to stay on that's in the middle, it's not too low, not too high, is ideal for me. I have heard people who swear by lower decks because they feel less motion. I have not found that. Comment down below where you like to stay on the ship. What location is your preference? I find like round deck 7, 8, or 9 is great for me because the lower I am, I feel like I feel that kind of rocking motion or the rolling motion, and the higher I am, I feel like the wind, I can feel the wind shifts. Now, another thing to consider when booking your cruise is how old the ship is. The newer, larger ships tend to have the stabilizers, so that's going to help you feel a lot less motion. If you're on an older, smaller ship, you know, we're talking a ship that's been around for about 15, 20 years, you may not have the stabilizers, and that really does make a difference. Tip number 2 is to pop them pills. And the pills that I'm talking about is your Dramamine or your Bonine. These are over-the-counter pills that help with motion sickness and seasickness, the Bonine specifically. Now, they do have some type of medicine very similar that's available at guest services, but I have heard that this one is absolute trash, meaning it is less effective than the Bonine one. So definitely bring these pills with you on board. Start your dosage maybe a day before you get on board. That way it's already in your system and you get the best results. Now, this is not a video to say that you will get sick or that everyone gets sick. Usually most people are fine. It's only when you hit that severe rough water where a lot of passengers start feeling a little bit green around the edges. So it's better, I think, to be prepared. Like I say, I'll pack everything even if I don't use it, because once you're out at sea, where are you gonna get pills from? Like, there's no floating target. A third idea that can help with seasickness and motion sickness is to wear the patch. I feel like I'm talking about birth control. First the pill, now the patch. But the patch is something that is over the counter as well. A lot of people you may see wear it behind their ear. And this is another one of those things that you're going to want to wear in advance. So they say 8 hours before you are on board, you want to put it on so it has the best effect, and then it lasts for 3 days. So after 3 days, you will have to change it. I have worn this before on my very first cruise, and it was very effective for me. We did a Mediterranean cruise in May, and the water was quite choppy. That's why I wore it, because on some cruises, I don't really mess with it too much. I know the weather's going to be good, you know, a short trip from Florida to Bahamas, it's good weather, it's no chance of anything dramatic, right? But when we went to the Mediterranean, I knew that it could get very choppy over there, especially in May, early part of May. So patch went on, I felt fine, and the boat was like rocking. I had more issues with my anxiety than actually feeling nauseous or vomiting. Now, there's also a wristband that people wear. I can't comment too much on it. I've never worn it. I don't know much about it, but that might be something you might want to research if the pill or the patch is not an option for you. Another idea for both prevention and cure is to take ginger pills. They sell these, once again, over the counter. At my local drugstore, they had them right next to the Dramamine. So you can take these while you're on board before motion sickness kicks in, just to prevent. It helps to soothe the stomach. Ginger's known for that. And then if you got sick, continue to take these pills, or you could do like ginger ale if they have that on board. I'm not going to tell you go to the sushi bar and get pickled ginger, but ginger is known for soothing your stomach woes. Now let's talk about some cures if you do happen to unfortunately not feel well because of motion sickness. The first thing is eat green apples. This is the breakfast or dinner of champions when you're cruising and you don't feel well in terms of motion sickness. In fact, the crew will likely bring you a bowl of green apples if they know that you're not feeling well. I actually had someone in one of the group cruises that I took who was not feeling well, and that's what they brought her. They brought her a bowl of green apples, and that was her dinner, and she said it really helped her to feel better. So green apples are usually available in the buffet, like when they have the fruit display, or you could request it. I think a lot of cruise ships keep these handy, not just for their guests, but for their crew when they're facing rough water. I don't know what's in these magical green apples, but they work. Another thing that could help is to eat a bland, kind of dry diet for that time when you're not feeling well, especially if you've been vomiting. So go light on your stomach, no alcohol, do like toast or a banana, rice, like bland, plain white rice. These things are going to help to soothe your stomach. You don't want to put anything greasy or fattening in your stomach that might make you feel sick again. For me, I know when I am nauseous or even when I'm nervous, which happens more often than me being motion sick, I chew on ice. And I don't know, I know it's not good for your teeth, but it's good for my mind and because it just calms me down. So I'm just throwing that out there as something that's helped me. You don't have to follow my advice. Chewing ice is where it's at. It just calms my nerves. Like that is my woosah moment. Another thing that I know can help is to sit outside, get outside, and just stare at the horizon. This, I don't know if it helps to stabilize like your body or your mind. Don't look at the water and the waves. Just stare further out at the horizon, get that fresh air in. It can really help to calm you down and just, take deep breaths. Breathing is very important when you're feeling not so good. I know for me, like I said, the anxiety kind of peaks up when I feel any motion in the boat. When we're smooth sailing, I'm fine. But the second that those hangers start swaying and swinging and making noise in our cabin room, or I hear a creak here or there, my head pops up and I'm ready to grab the life jackets, right? So for me, going outside, seeing the horizon, breathing in the fresh salt air, it really does help me to feel better. And honestly, I can just say it's since becoming a mom, I'm just on high alert and I feel the need to protect. So I don't know if there's anyone out there like me that feels that way. I know of a few people who just won't cruise because of these fears. And all I'm saying is these are some tips to help you work around it, to help you feel better and to calm yourself so that you can enjoy your vacation, even in rough seas. My last tip to help with motion sickness, if you feel up to it, try and take your mind off of how you may be feeling. Like if you're just feeling, I'm not saying if you're dead out, flat out, you need to lay down, not that. In fact, I find laying down makes me feel worse when I feel nauseous. Usually sitting up is the way to go. But if you're able to walk, finding ways to take your mind off of how you're feeling, whether it be nauseous or anxious, is a good way to go. So try and visit the entertainment that they have on board. Get out and just chat with people just to take your mind off of it. I know when the ship is really rocking, I like to go and like find other people who are like, what the heck's going on around here? And we kind of bond over that. You meet new people and it just takes your mind off of it for a bit. If you do have a room in the forward or the aft, try and find something midship to do, whether it's the lobby, what's going on there, or even being upstairs in the pool area. If the boat is really rocking, you may not want to be outside. In fact, sometimes they do close off the public spaces. It's not uncommon for them to say, okay, don't go up on the open areas because of the wind or waves at the moment. But finding something on ship to do, talking to the crew, I know for me that's very soothing. Like I'll be like, how bad is this? Oh, and they'll be like, oh no, we've had worse before. It is their job to calm you down, but just talking to them can be reassuring as well. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful, especially if you've never been on a cruise before and you're a little bit worried about if you will be sick or not or what to expect. I will say again, take your patch or your pill to be prepared. And you can use any of these tips. If you have been on a cruise before, if you're prone to motion sickness and you have any other tips, leave them down below in the comments to help out others. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope that all is well and take care. Bye, guys.